Yep.
Okay. Welcome to Chatham-Kent's Business Podcast. This is, what do we call this thing again?
CK.
Nope, that's not it.
Nope.
No, it's called Plugged In
Plugged in,
Chatham-Kent.
that's it. See, I was just prompting you.
Thank you. Plugged In Chatham-Kent, your business podcast. This is a bit of a special occasion, not in a, I don't know if I'd say a positive or negative way, but it is what it is. We were just sitting in a meeting having a discussion about some of the things that happened with a recent fire, and we decided to sort of broadcast out the results of some of that conversation. And so I'm going to start off. I'm Andrew, work in economic development and communications. I'm going to go around the room because the next to me is
Jason Guttridge, and I'm with 7 Farms Down. I'm also here representing QPS Mechanical and Dave Polowick Design.
brilliant. Next,
I'm Anthony Wilson, Economic Development Officer for Ward 6. And his first ever podcast.
Matt Rayom, Economic Development, and I am Ward 3 and 4.
3, 4,
Yeah.
and 5, I believe.
you're south or north?
South.
South. There we
South,
go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not your first time with any microphone. You come from a radio.
Yeah, radio background,
Radio
so
background.
they
But
still
it
make me
is-
nervous.
His first day at Economic Development,
Yeah.
and we've thrown him into the fire
In a podcast.
in a
podcast.
All
podcast.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, a podcast,
That's
a
my
meeting.
first one too, so
Yeah.
that's okay.
We're
Yeah.
newbies.
Yeah.
This is called flexibility with media. Right?
Absolutely.
We utilize
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
So I don't know who wants to set this up, but last Thursday there was a bit of a situation that went on in the morning. I don't know if you want to go right ahead. and
Sure.
talk
Yeah,
to us.
there was a fire at our office. It started in the shop, and it was just a mere accident. Luckily, everyone did get out safely. Some people did have to go into the hospital for smoke inhalation, and we're very thankful that nobody got hurt. We lost a lot of belongings. Myself, with 7 Farms Down, I only had really an office of belongings there, but you never really realize how much you have in your office until it burns to the ground, and all those little things, the piles of business cards from all the conferences, all the receipts that you're going to write off for HST. There's a lot of little things that and with the fire happened so fast, you really only have, and I can't stress this enough, but my eyes are open to the fact that when there's a fire, get the heck out, because it happens fast. And I was I thought we would have had a little bit of time when I started smoke bellowing, and I would say it would be under 60 seconds, and you had to get out of there. You were in basically thick black smoke. It's
Wow.
fast. Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. So make sure you, if anybody here has a business, a family, a home, anything, go through a fire plan and make sure you have it down, because it happens fast. And you always think it isn't going to happen to me, and then no sooner said than done it does. And how quick life can change in a heartbeat. Luckily, we're all okay. Thankful for that. But we're picking up, we're rebuilding. I know QPS and Polowick, they're moving forward. They haven't missed a beat. There was a lot of community outreach amongst even like Postmas, Handy Brothers, right in the immediate area as well. All the neighbors, everyone kind of steps up into action. So it's really nice that we have a community like that, because I don't know if you'd really see something like that in a really big city. If we were in Vaughan, or if we were in Oakville, or if we were in Toronto, I don't think all the neighbors are going to come walking over and say, hey, if you need anything, or call you and say, hey, is there something we can do?
Yeah.
We're here in Chatham. It's like all of a sudden everybody wants to step in and help out. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was great what you were discussing earlier about the business community stepping forward. So what are normally competitors are stepping up to say, how can we help, right?
For sure. That's huge, especially for QPS. They got all these jobs that are already booked, and they got inventory, and they're trying to keep up with their customers' needs. And all of a sudden a fire like this happens, they lose all their inventory, and now they don't have all their pre-made plentums in ductworks, and now they got to start from scratch. And it's really nice to see that the competition, you let bygones be bygones, but when you see a fellow man in need, they stepped up. Mm-hmm. and definitely that speaks a lot to our community and who Chatham-Kent really is.
And if I can add on that, you said though earlier that while they've lost a lot of the inventory, they're still full steam ahead on all their projects, right?
Yeah, so they did actually have some contingency plans for things such as this if it were to happen, if we lost our building. And within a week they're going to be back up and running. They're in a temporary location down the road now, and they will be at 71 Sass Road Unit 3, probably in a couple days with the office done. They were painting today, and I know they had delivery of office furniture. So they haven't really missed a beat. The day of the fire, they called their guys off jobs just to come back because, they're a bit of a family too, and it's an emotional time. Like, a lot of guys had things in there too. Like, even, hey, you know what? I love my tools, and I don't want to see those all burn up. Like, I come from a farm, I get that. It's our, it pulls the heartstrings. So, they called all their guys back that day, but, the next day they were all back out on job, and they got their jobs done. Service kept up. They still kept their emergency line going, which was getting calls. So, it's good to see that, they had a little bit of forethought into something like this as a business because, there's a lot of stakeholders in, your employees, the community, your customers, all that kind of stuff, the suppliers and all that stuff. So, they really kept the ball rolling. I got to give them a lot of credit. They're doing a fantastic job in a time of, crisis and in peril.
And I want to give a shout out to the fire department.
For sure.
I've heard nothing but positive things on how fast they're able to respond. You were there, Anthony, on hand. We were there within, 20 minutes, half an hour, something like that.
Shortly after. Well, you basically got your emergency response, and then you have Chatham-Kent Economic Development right behind, and offering what can you do to help. Like, that was huge. That's why I'm here today, because you're helping us, and I can't say how much that means to Jay Glacier and Todd Ellis from QPS and Dave Polowick. Like, just the fact that the city was right there to say, hey, do you need office space? Do you need warehousing space? What do you need right now to keep your business moving forward? We weren't expecting that. Nobody was really expecting that. So that was a pretty big surprise. You kind of expect the fire department to show up, and they did a great job in the emergency services. And the police, everybody was so professional. They were all there, they're doing their job. The men and women in uniform, they're doing fantastic. But then here you got another man in uniform showing up, and the city, stepping up behind her back. That means a lot. And I think that means a lot to people in this community that have businesses to know, hey, in a time of crisis, that the city is there to help. That's amazing. That's impressive.
Well, the goal is to get you back to business as usual. Even in an unusual time, you got to keep on with that business as usual. And that's our job. That's part of economic development. We want to be there.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. As much as you're thanking us, I mean, again, the reason that we do the job that we do is because we want to thank you guys for having these businesses in our community that provides opportunities and supports economic growth and all that stuff. And without great businesses, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, so win-win, right?
It's win for everybody. Yeah. And, at the end of the day, too, I tell businesses this, but we all have children, and we want our children to stay here in Chatham-Kent because we love Chatham-Kent.
For sure.
And when there's great jobs, those are the things that keep people here a lot.
Absolutely, especially if they send off and they get educated. We want to keep that talent here because we don't want to lose it. It's a competitive world, and Chatham-Kent has a lot to offer, that's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
So where's your new location?
So 71 SAS. Unit 3, so...
the old RT security building?
Yeah, so that's where they are temporary right now off Colborne, and that's where Dave Polowick will continue his operations. He's going to, I think, look, and everyone's dealing with insurance right now. People aren't really sure how things are panning out. So he'll be there at the end of Colborne. I don't know the number on Colborne, but it's right at the end of Sass Road in Colborne is where Polowick Design, and then QPS in Seven Farms down will be down there at 71 Sass, and I'll be renting still off them and kind of working together with them. So it's nice to see that they're going to be up and running. You guys offered, again, already helping out, putting up temporary signs because that's kind of in the back burner. They're trying to get their equipment. They're trying to get the office and the phone lines now set up. They need to get the internet hooked up. They're not really thinking about signage and stuff like that. So you guys are saying, hey, we can help you put up a temporary sign, man. That's huge. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Trying to help make people aware that they can get where to find you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's essential.
Yeah.
So in that building, actually, was, just to be clear, so I don't know if we went over that, but was QPS Heating and Cooling, Seven Farms Down, and Dave Polowick Design.
Operated an office over there,
And everybody's still up and running. So that's one thing. I think I had heard from one or two people that asked if any of those businesses have closed or if they're done. And the answer is
business as usual.
business as usual.
Absolutely,
So everybody
yeah.
is still open.
Yeah, rebuilding and picking up the pieces, and you know, we haven't missed, really, they haven't missed a beat, everybody. And then even Dave, the next day he had a computer set up. I helped him pull out his hard drives while he grabbed his iguana, because you couldn't let a 26-year-old family member perish in the fire. So he got that stuff out, and luckily enough, the fire department did a great job on actually saving his little room. He was able to pull out a lot of the current jobs, just some prints that he needs to just reference, and some notes. The fire department even actually said, hey, before we start hitting this with water, is there some stack of papers? He says, right beside my desk. Fire department goes in there, and then they can hit it with water. But to do something like that, which is kind of nice. If I was a fireman, I would probably just start throwing water all over the place.
Don't throw fire.
No, don't throw fire. I would just start spilling water. But it's nice to see that it's like, hey, do you want something out of here? Because we're going to hit it with.
Well, this is less than a week, and you guys are already up and running.
Yes.
I'm impressed. So you can probably speak into disaster recovery plan for local businesses, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you can vouch that it's important.
You know, and I know the odds aren't very high, but so is a lot of other things. And we cover, you know, there's so many other risk management things that happen in our everyday lives that we take. You know, we buy the car insurance, which you kind of have to, but this is another thing, especially for a business and even a household, to have these sorts of plans in place. It's
Well, most people don't. Most people think, and I'm one of them, and I have to get out of that. But that this wouldn't happen to me, you know, like owning a business. Like my business won't go on fire. Like that's
the last thing you think of, right?
Right, exactly, right. You may think of it, and somebody may say, "Hey, you should plan for that in case it does happen." But I'm cocky, and I would probably think that's not going to happen to me.
Nope.
So you don't think of it until it happens, and then
then what?
You know.
Yeah.
But, I will say, just from my own observations on the site, everybody seemed to have a really good grip on it.
Yeah.
What I thought was really cool, though, especially after meeting Jay for the first time, Jay Glacier of QPS, was that his first and foremost concern was the safety of everybody.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Everybody
so
got
staff, he was on the phone, he was making calls, his
Yeah.
wife was there doing the same thing. I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool as well. And then his next concern was his customers.
Yeah.
I have a business to run. I don't want to let my customers down.
No.
And when he said that, I was like, wow, this guy's got it. Like, he said he didn't know what he was doing,
Yeah.
but he acted quite opposite in the sense that, he really had
Yeah. Very
Second nature took over. Yeah.
more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did
So,
good there. Yeah. Because either, he's been there for, I don't know if it's getting close to 20 years. Like, it's a second home for him as well too. So it was an emotional day for some people, and for myself included. It's just like, wow, it's like I never thought I was going to lose this kind of stuff. But hey, we all got out. Like, we're rebuilding, we're moving on, and that's kind of sometimes you get challenged the hardest in times of calamity. But you can always step up and rise and meet the challenge, meet the demands, and then you move forward. So they're all doing it. I can't say enough for the QPS team. They're doing a fantastic job.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I think all of the phones are forwarded now. All of those details are
Everything is
solved,
set.
right?
Yeah, that day they got the phones. Like, it's those little details too, because they're sitting there watching a fire build up, and you're not really thinking, well. And Luann's like, "Where's the phones going?" And it's like, well, I guess we got to get there. And then we had a neighbor that's helping do a lot of stuff right now. He come in and he got the phones forwarded just like that, and business as usual. The girls were already there fielding at the temporary office that afternoon, getting things set up. And luckily they pulled hard drives when they left out. So it's good to let your employees know, hey, if there's a fire, don't grab anything. But if you got a minute, here's your personal items. If you need to grab a hard drive, grab it. It's important. Yeah. But really, getting the heck out of Dodge is probably number one. And I think the fire department would agree. Don't bring them grabbing anything. Unless you're right beside a door and you got to grab like a sign. Yeah, it is.
So we mentioned your company, 7 Farms Down. Can you tell us more about that?
Yep. So
I guess according to your business card, you're the chief troublemaker.
Okay,
perfect.
Take a little bit of trouble. So we're going to be we're in the pre-LP stages. So LP is licensed producer, and we're going to produce cultivate cannabis outdoors. So we're farmers from a 6th generation farm. This is an agricultural product. Our city has been great to zone it as such, and you know what? I've been to a lot of conferences now. I've spoken at conferences, and I got to see what's happening across Canada as a whole. and not all every municipality is quite so, endearing to be like, yeah, it's an agricultural product. Chatham-Kent, luckily, we grow for the world. I mean, we do have a lot of the number one, producer of, I forget all the amounts of
lots.
Tomatoes,
agriculture,
seed corn,
all the products. So,
Yeah.
if this is another thing, we had seen just by watching the American market and seeing what happened in legalized states, the outdoor growers become a niche part of the puzzle. We're not going to take over everything because it's going to be just grown outdoors. It's going to be outdoor weed, but it's going to be meant for extraction. So just like corn, I'm not going to grow corn in a greenhouse to send to the ethanol plant. It would cost too much. The amount of inputs for what you're going to get out of it will make little to no sense. So we thought, well, if we can do this outdoor cultivation, let's have at it. We're going to, we're agricultural specialists. We'll put our minds together. So it's been a large part of planning, a lot of planning, just looking at trying to cover off all these contingencies because it is outdoor growing. But yeah, so next year for 2020, we're looking to be one of the first outdoor cultivators in cannabis in Chatham-Kent.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Wow. Now, is there any different challenges or I guess opportunities with growing outside versus indoor
Sure.
production?
So yeah, absolutely. The challenges you have, I guess, you're at the whims of the weather. So you're going to be a typical farmer, and you're going to be wondering when it's raining, what the temperature is, when we're getting a frost, when's the first frost, when's the last frost, all those sorts of things. So we are at the whims of Mother Nature, but we grow everything else pretty successfully outdoors. And if you've ever tasted a field cucumber or a field tomato and compared that directly to a greenhouse grown, there's a big difference in the flavors that you get out of that. And with cannabis, you got the terpenes, and we'll get those, those full flavored coming right out of the ground. It's our dirt. So we've been really taking care of our dirt. It's been a whole year of it, putting in double cut red clover, plowing it over, working the ground, putting in oats. Because we're doing it organically, we can't use conventional sprays. There's really nothing that we can put on cannabis right now that's Health Canada regulated. And that's even organic stuff. So things that are traditionally or that you could put on an organic tomato, we can't really use yet. Health Canada hasn't authorized it. So that will come. So right now we can't treat our soil like dirt. We got to treat the soil like our end product. So then, what comes in comes out, right?
Yeah.
So we're really focusing on that ends of it.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. I got the chance to stand with you at the edge of your field, and you're pointing out all of these great things. Your arms were in the air, and the visions of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll say you're definitely passionate about it.
Yeah,
so it was very cool to be there.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It'll be a great ride. It'll be great for the community. We're 6th generation farmers. I'm from Merlin. I went to high school or public school there. If we can create some, economic opportunities there for some of the local residents, hey, it helps keep the people and the children here. Give them a job, not only a good job, and they can challenge themselves, and we'll support them if they want to go off and continue education, all these sorts of things. It's great. It's a win-win. I know the way things are going with schools, but I'd love to donate back to the school, see if that school can keep open. And I know they've had their own issues, and hey, if there's anything we can do to give back into our community, that's going to be a big part of our objective as well, is making sure that we're not going to leave the community behind. It's at our forefront is the community. Yeah.
I think that's a great spot to end. I'm also worried because I don't want my phone to just die and cut out us because we are a high quality content, low production value thing with us.
You.
But thank you so much for doing this and for chatting.
No, thank you for having me today, and all the resources you guys have offered to QPS, to 7 Farms Down, to Dave Polowick. It means the world to everybody. I can't state it enough.
And so does having you guys in our community.
Absolutely.
Again, cyclical and creating great jobs and great products and great opportunity for our community. And
It's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
Thanks,
so
man.
folks, remember, all of those businesses are still open. They are still open to serve. We will put links under this podcast in terms of where you can find more information to contact these great people. And beware. There's going to be some media stuff coming out.
Be advised.
Be advised. Thank you. There you go. Be advised that there will be some media coming out, some different platforms of media, and that there are still some good things going on and whatnot.
So. Business as usual.
It's awesome. Okay, thank you.
Stay classy, Chatham-Kent.